Okay, we're back in line. Sorry about that little hiccup, guys. I don't know what just happened, but the program crashed on me. We're totally fine, though. We're back in action. You did not miss much. We do have links finally coming across the map, but the only thing you missed was a probe dying. Now, Zombie Grub had asked just before the stream went down, was this a faster Twilight Council? And compared to most builds, yes. But against the preparation of a Hydralisk bust, absolutely not. You need speed, you need Zealots, and without those two combined, Blink Stalkers are alright, but they're not what win you the game versus Hydralisk. It's truly the Zealots. So, this is for, I think, the expectation of a Hydralisk bust, perfectly timed, but because there's no bust coming, he actually decides to go for an attack with this. Which, well, let's be honest, is going to work out. There's no spine colors for defense, and well, he's not going to be sitting on the top of the ramp anytime soon. We did kind of briefly allude to the high ground advantage in Starbow. You got like a 50% chance to miss ranged attacks shooting up a ramp. So if you got the Hydralisk at the top and it's like a lot of Dragoons and Stalkers, you can actually take a pretty good fight. But against Zealots, of course, it's going to be somewhat irrelevant.
I wonder how surprising this is, what Jade is doing. Now, we have the fight going on right now, so I'll talk a little bit about that later. He's doing pretty well. Of course, he has that blink, so these Stalkers are going to survive a little longer than expected.
I don't like it pre-enraging that other queen. It's actually not going to have energy to fight. Enrage does cost quite a bit. Was it 35? Yeah, 35.
Well, he does hold off for now. And it looks like he's not too eager to continue.
Good blink control.
Yeah.
I just won't be able to completely drive this back. Someone asking what's in the middle of the map. It's just a really odd expansion, but it's a very dangerous one to take. I would love to see a game on this map get played to the point where everything was mined out, and this base was like the one point of contest for the winning of the game, I guess. But Hydralisk, of course, it's worth noting, guys. You'll notice they don't have any speed bonus on creep. That's another thing to point out about Starbow. There's no speed bonus on creep. Instead, you get a regen bonus. But they still give tumors still give vision, and creep spreading is still a good thing to do.
It looks like he's still continuing with this pressure. Of course, with no warp gate, it looks a lot different than any other attack from a Protoss player in StarCraft 2. But it seems fairly well, it's even right now. Deathblood has just enough that he can keep on cutting back from the Zealots. He has enough that he can just kind of sit outside and not worry about really being overrun. But it does stop Deathblood from taking like a better third? No, it's not a better third. The other thirds are so far away that, yeah, you would have to take them in only. It's weird.
Well, I like this spine crawler, but what I don't like is there's only one. I kind of wish you'd invest in a little bit more. It's not a huge investment, but I like this speedling run by 2. If all these units are on this side of the map, you can try and certainly do a run by. There's no warping mechanics either, guys. Chrono Boost, well, there's warping, but it's more like a tier 3 upgrade, and it's honestly not that good. So it's not like there's going to be instantly 7 Zealots to defend this. He's going to have to actually produce them. This run by, I think, is going to be really darn effective as he gets right into the mineral lines. Nice moves here out of Deathblood. Really embracing what I feel like a lot of players, they come to Starbow and they forget like the core essence of a lot of the races. Like, Zergs using speed, using mobility, using run-bys to their advantage type thing. We do see him doing that now though. And Probe's completely being evacuated from the main again. Jade not losing a lot, but also not getting much mining done in the process. This actually opens the front doors for the Hydralisk. Wow, Deathblood really looking to get aggressive here.
This is a really nice move. He's going to be able to take down a bunch of pylons. He could have gone for the Forge, actually, but instead depowers both the Forge and the Gateway.
This is risky, though, because if he loses all these Hydralisks, he's got no defense for the counterattack.
And Blink Stalkers can chase. That is what they can do so well.
Well, unfortunately, forced to take a fight. Trying to focus these down, like that move out of Deathblood, but again, if there was 3 or 4 more spine crawlers behind this, the counterattack is not quite so grievous, not so dangerous, but he's left with what is only a handful of Hydralisks making it back from that initial attack. He's got some more at home, sure, but I don't know if this is enough to hold a full defense. Not against this many Zealots.
Yeah, there's so many Zealots. I feel like he needs more Lings to just, make sure they don't connect with those Hydralisks. He doesn't focus on the Spine Crawler, which gave a lot of time for the Hydralisks to do a lot of damage. Going into the Zealots, probably not the best idea. It takes maybe some unnecessary damage there.
He was trying to focus the Stalkers, so, I mean, that was a good choice to go for the Stalkers, but yeah, it took a little bit more damage than I think he needed to. Either way, he holds, which is really nice.
Oh. Yeah, definitely. Well, I guess now that there's a bit of a lull, these guys are really throwing punches at each other. I was going to talk about how it may be surprising what Jade is doing. Because I mean, from what we saw and what we saw on Brood War at least was that you would get your forage up and your cannon up at the front, and then you'd go into a Stargate for Corsairs usually in Brood War or Sentinels in Starbow, or you'd go for something else like I don't know, like DTs or really fast storm, at the very least fast storm. And what Jade is doing is just a lot of gateway units. So I wonder if Deathblood's like, what are you doing? Like, oh, I'm not used to this. I'm usually have to like less gateway units.
Yeah, well, I mean, gateway units aren't... They'll last you longer than regular gateway units would say in StarCraft 2. I mean, Stalkers, again, they come pre-built with Blink, which is kind of cool. But we don't see them as really abusing that Blink right now either. There's something I totally didn't even know about the first time I ever saw, but Stalkers also come not only equipped with Blink, but high ground vision. So they can blink anywhere they want. It'd be very easy for him to try and, maybe draw Deathblood's attention to the left and just simply blink up towards this main area, run around a little bit, kill some in the main, and then blink on out to safety.
Well, it's not really a safety exit.
Well, over here to the left, you can
go
over the rocks, and then
blink
over
on the rocks. Yeah, it's
well,
cool.
I mean, you can blink over the rocks too. But
oh, well, yeah, of course.
The whole blink thing being the point of what you're discussing. But what we do see, interestingly enough, is weapons delayed for both players. Not because it's anything crazy, but weapon upgrades in general in Starbow aren't nearly as prevalent and not nearly as much of an importance as they are in regular StarCraft. But they're still good to have. But we only see 1-1 finishing up for both players just now, actually. Well, just starting up for Deathblood, actually.
Yeah. He does find this 4th, or 3.5, because the 3rd doesn't have a gas. I don't know what to call it. But he finds it, so that seems like quite a difficult place to actually hold, there's not a lot of avenues in there, but that doesn't seem to be the problem. It's so far away from your main force is going to be. He is making, sure to get creep over there, which is really good.
Sorry, I just had to go update a couple of sub status to silver because people were nagging about it. But yeah, I mean, the creep rate is something interesting too. Again, it doesn't give the speed bonus that you're used to, that you love to have. But again, whether it's connecting the bases for vision, whether it's just that little bit of extra regen, it's good to have. But that's why we also don't see anyone going out of their way to spread insane amounts of creep. But I would love to have just a little bit of more map control here out of Deathblood, that's for certain. Can Overlords still drop creep? Actually, I've never actually checked. Oh, they can.
He might be a little scared as to what Jade is doing. He did get up to that lurker tech, but now he has it. He actually morphed a few already. So if he was going to attack, he could.
Lurkers are so fickle, though, because unlike Marines, unlike Marauders even, Zealots have a lot of health through the shields and their actual physical HP. Plus, with the speed, they can connect a lot quicker and a lot sooner. So typically what we end up seeing a lot of the time, guys, you see like a bunch of burrowed lurkers, and you're like, yes, I'm going to get a ton of kills. But they get like one volley off, and then usually the Zealots are already on top of them. So it's going to be hard to utilize these, but if done correctly, that splash damage will be absolutely invaluable. Now, we do actually have Deathblood scouting for the ninja bases too. I really like that, because we just talked about that a little bit earlier.
I would have preferred if he actually took them as opposed to that 3rd, 4th, whatever, over there. But he did, and now he's actually has a nice little concave around everything, which is pretty nice. I mean, 4 bases, you can sit back and be pretty content with that. But if you're going to sit back, get tech,
Yeah. Speaking of tech, actually, to address the question in chat, someone asked if Warp Tech was taken out of Starbow. No, it's like Tier 3 Templar Archive tech stuff. But beyond that, it's also got a really massively long cooldown on it, and units take a long time to actually activate upon warping in. So what you end up seeing a lot of the time is people just preferring to use Chrono Boost from a ton of gateways, because Chrono Boost increases the production of a gateway by 100%. So Warp Tech's available, but it's not necessarily the best choice. That's why you don't see a lot of players go for it. I think Crank's literally the only person I've seen play with it.
Well, a big attack is forming right now. Deathblood doesn't have to go through a choke, unfortunately, and the lurkers do burrow, but the Hydras are trying to trap. The Zealots are connecting so well.
And like I said too, like we see the Zealots get some nice cuts off on top of the volleys. Yeah, pushes them back. I was actually surprised. I was ready to get all condescending because the lurkers are usually not this good, but we do see them being rather effective, and there's so many Hydralisks behind this. And like I said earlier, like, Starbow's got this nice thing where it's just raw brute numbers force, because upgrades aren't as big of a deal, end up winning a lot of fights. Blink Stalker's doing what they can. They're actually maneuvering really nicely around this. Jade dancing perfectly, but even then, he just simply doesn't have enough. Good game's going to be called, and Deathblood will even up the series 1-1.
That was really fast.
That was a very abrupt ending.